So this is Group 5 journal. So we talked about last week how to professionalism and how to work with coworkers and all of that stuff. Carissa led the group. I think she did a good job trying to keep us on task because we all kind of went off on tangents a little bit. I noticed in this group I talked a lot, but I think it's because I had a specific issue with a coworker this past, I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago, that really was rubbing me the wrong way. It was kind of a perfect example of the content we were talking about. So we discussed that and just my frustration. She also had us fill out like a little survey that kind of informed us of like our strengths and weaknesses as a professional in the workplace. So like if we show up on time or if we're good teammates, if we're consistent in our work, all of that stuff. And I found that really helpful because it was helpful to be to provide some insight into my own professionalism and see where I still need to grow. We talked about like professional dress and stuff. As with like the process of the group, I found that Alex and I talked the most, but I also felt somewhat attacked by him, so I did bring that up as a process. I was kind of like, because we're talking about professional dress and how someone at my internship, it's not technically unprofessional, I just don't think it's professional looking, and he was kind of talking about my transference and all this stuff, which it was, and I acknowledge that, but I just felt attacked and I felt defensive, so I brought that up, how I felt like I needed to be offensive, and so we kind of talked further into that and why I felt defensive. It was more of just the way Alex was coming off and the way he was smiling and kind of like patronizing, not like, it felt invalidating, so that's what I communicated to him. Actually all members of the group were kind of like siding with him, so I also talked about that. So I think that was interesting that I brought that up because I don't know, I think before doing this or being aware of these like processes within the group, I wouldn't have necessarily brought that up. I would have just been frustrated and have wanted to leave the group. Overall, I don't know. I think it was helpful to getting stuff off my chest with coworkers, but we also kind of talked about like bureaucracy and red tape and how to not work through that, but how that's a really frustrating thing for me. So I think if anything, it brought me insight into just things I'm going to have to suck up necessarily if I'm going to be a social worker and work in agencies, as well as, I don't know, I kind of felt the group seeing all, like, not my deficits, but things that I find hard, like I don't like authority, and obviously in an agency there's going to be authority, and there's just going to be things I'm going to have to do that I don't want to do, but I think having a group and talking with other people and seeing that, like, other people have weaknesses that I think I'm good at, and like they have strengths that I'm weak at. So I think that was helpful to see that like it is unique and it's not just like I suck, but everyone has their strengths and weaknesses. So I can see how a group process would help kind of balance people out and make them not feel like they're stupid or invalid for struggling with a certain thing when other people struggle with certain things. Like I think Megan said she was struggling with confidence and like decision making in her job, and we kind of talked about that more and how it was not necessarily she wasn't competent, but it was more she was just insecure about her decision making skills and how she's just insecure as a person, whereas for me I feel like I'm a very confident person, and I will stick with my decisions and I can easily make decisions, whereas with her I could see her being more easy to take constructive criticism, not take constructive criticism, but work with policies and work with people that are the higher-ups where I more butt heads with that. But I think that's just my paternalism and just I don't know if paternalism is the right word, but just who I am and all of that. So, yeah, that was my group. I'm trying to think of other dynamics. I'm making a video. What else? So this upcoming week is our last group, and I think Alex is leaning it about burnout. I like how we have been doing having people read articles or some content before the group, even though it's sometimes hard and I forget to do it. I think that's helpful to create some structure in the group. And although we're all competent about talking with things, like you said before, how we can all just vent about something, but it's not necessarily a group. A group needs structure and something to discuss, or it needs to revolve around something. So I think that's where that's beneficial. So yeah, that's it for group 5.